Common Council President Don Kutcher Jr. Thank you very much for being here. Let's give him a round of applause. We have our senator, my colleague from Albany. I would like to say the governor gets to do everything on his or her own. That is not the case. You need the legislature to do everything, and we've had a great partnership, and Senator Patty Ritchie is a fantastic representative for you, and it's a pleasure to have her here. Thank you for all your service and for all you have done for this beautiful community for all these years. Let's give the mayor a clap. We have the members of our Regional Economic Development Council, Deborah Stanley and Randy Welkin. Thank you for being here. Okay, big crowd. Excited. Why? You think you're going to have good news? Is that why? Let me get to the point. All of us in elected office, all of us involved in the community, really are trying to do one thing at the end of the day, which is to make this state, to make this city, to make this community a better community, right? Your fundamental responsibility as a citizen, as a parent, is to leave the place better than you found it. Maybe not so much for us, you know, I'm 62 years old, I'm pretty far down the road, but I have 3 beautiful young daughters, and they're just starting their journey, and I want to make sure that we leave them a home that is better than the home that we had. More opportunity, safer, cleaner, better than what we had. That's the fundamental goal and fundamental responsibility. And we each do it in a different way. The trick is to get everyone pulling in the same direction. Everyone to agree on the same goal and then pull on the same direction. And we basically do it on 3 levels. You have the state government, you have regional partnerships, and then you have local government. On the state government, I'm very proud of what we've done together. We have made this state much more business friendly because everything starts with business. If you can't produce jobs, nothing else works. If you don't have jobs, you don't have a tax base, if you're not creating small businesses, there's no opportunity. If there's no opportunity, young people leave. And unfortunately, we've seen that happen time and time again in upstate New York especially. So the first thing we did is we lowered taxes all across the state. State taxes are lower today than the day I took office. Every person in this room pays a lower tax state rate than they did the day I was elected. And I'm proud of it. We reduced middle class taxes to give the middle class a break. And then we did something else. For many years, and the senator can attest to this, the state government in Albany was in many ways blind to upstate New York. I'm from downstate New York, and maybe that's why I see it more clearly. But I got to Albany and I said, you know, New York State is bigger than New York City. Most of the legislators come from New York City. New York City is a great city, an international city, but there's a whole state above New York City, right? It's not just about the city. It's been the bulk, the majority of the state is upstate New York. And upstate New York was suffering for decades. And the state government was deaf, dumb, and blind to the needs of upstate New York. I said, we're going to do a 180-degree turn. And instead of focusing on downstate New York, we're going to focus on upstate New York. And I am proud to tell you that under my administration, we have invested more in upstate New York and economic development in upstate New York than any state administration in history. Over 44 years. And the proof is about their batting average, right? They can be a nice guy, not a nice guy, nice girl, not a nice girl, but the batting average are numbers, and they're undeniable. When you're a governor, your batting average is economic development. Today, New York State has more private sector jobs than ever before in the history of the state of New York. Unemployment rate when we started Central New York, 8.4%. Today, it's 3.7%. That's progress. The state's doing what it's supposed to be doing, and then we have a Regional Economic Development Council, which is a new entity, which said we have to get out of this mentality where every county has to take care of itself, every city has to take care of itself. The economy really works in regions. The Western New York region is working, the Central New York region is working, but it's not just one county, it's the region of those counties. So we set up regional economic development councils to come up with regional economic plans. And the Central New York Region Economic Development Council has done a great job because the region does work together. And tourism is working for us, advanced manufacturing, new industries are working for us. And for any of these things to happen, the transportation system has to work. So we rebuilt Syracuse Airport, which finally needed it, and it's a totally different facility than it was. The State Fair had such potential to bring in people. We're setting records at the State Fair. Over 1 million people come. We built a whole new complex at the State Fair. If you haven't been there in a few years, you should go back. That State Fair, I went one year, and I left a cup of soda on the fence. I came back the next year, that cup of soda was still right there. There was no renovation, there was no change. It is now a totally different facility. We built that beautiful amphitheater on Lake Onondaga now. So you see the changes all across the board. And the Regional Economic Development Council has done even more. The Salmon River land acquisition was brilliant. Sandy Pond to work for tourism and fishing has been brilliant. Attracting the industries of tomorrow. We're attracting the drone industry. Now you can say, what the heck is that, the drone industry? I'm telling you, the drone industry has one of the highest growth potentials projected of any new industry. In the young people's lifetime, you're going to see drones dropping off your mail, dropping off your packages. I mean, the technology is that advanced. And we have one of the only drone corridors in the United States of America to do research and development, et cetera, on the drone industry. So we've been investing in the power plants, which is so important, not just for jobs here, but for power all across the state, because the power that you generate at Fitzpatrick and other plants, that goes all through the state. So regionally, we've been doing great. And then you have the third level is the local level. And in some ways, the local level is the most important. Why? Because that's where you get to custom design the approach. Local government does know best. And you know the needs of Fulton better than anybody in Albany because you live it. You live it. So we started a program we called the DRI. Why? Because nobody uses words in government. DRI is the Downtown Revitalization Initiative. And what it said to local governments is, look, you tell us what you need. How does it work for you? We have these big things going on, Syracuse Airport, State Fair, et cetera. But how do you make it work in your community? What's your specific plan? And then we'll help you invest in your plan. That's the DRI concept. And Fulton put together a brilliant plan. And you're right, you have the 481 corridor on one side, you have the river on the other side. How do you capture that traffic in the city, and how do you grow the city using those two traffic corridors, right? That has always been the challenge, and you've done it. You've done it with entertainment. The marina on the river, I think, is very smart. The tavern is very smart. Bed and breakfast is very smart. You have to have the services to get that traffic to stop on the river and do business here. Repurposing the Nestle plant, amen, I say, finally. That is exactly. Attracting a drone industry, because I do believe this region can be the drone capital of this country. Fiber optics in downtown is exactly right. Because people want to know if they're going to do business, they can get LinkedIn. It doesn't matter if they're in Fulton or if they're on Park Avenue or in Paris. If you have fiber optics, you can be anywhere. But you need that technology, and your DRI calls to put that in. So the plan is brilliant and smart. Kudos for developing that plan. Now let me give you a little context. The DRI worked too well. What does that mean? That means we plan to have 10 winners statewide. Maximum amount of the award for a winning town would be, city, would be $10 million. We received over 100 applications for the 10 spots. That's why I say it worked too well. So 100 applications, you can only have 10 winners, and then of those 10, you can only have a maximum of a $10 million award. To be in the top 10, that means you have to be in the top 10%, you know? And I know we're a competitive society, and everybody wants to be first, and I have to be in first place, and I have to win, and if I don't win everything, then I lose. Good. That's what makes us New York, and that's what gives us heart attacks. If you're in second place, that means you're in the top 20%, and that is still great to be in the top 20%, right? $10 million is a lot of money, yes, but $8 million is a lot of money. $5 million is a lot of money and can go a long way towards helping you achieve a goal. So expectations and calibration are important here. Not everybody can win. When you have 100 applications, not everybody's going to be in the top 10. And that's nothing to be ashamed of, because the competition is so tough. Am I communicating what I am trying to express? Life is expectations. Okay? With that context, I'm pleased to announce that Fulton has won first place, $10 million.
Thank you, Governor. I can't top that. I just want to say good morning to everybody. It's probably afternoon by now. Thank you for joining us here today for a great moment for the city of Fulton. I'd like to thank the governor, Andrew Cuomo, for being so generous to the city of Fulton. Senator Patty Ritchie. My friend, the mayor of Fulton, Ron Woodward. Mayor of Oswego, Billy Barlow. And all of the Oswego County legislators. Thank the Central New York Regional Economic Development Council co-chairs, SUNY Oswego President Deborah Stanley, President of the Manufacturers Association of Central New York, Randy Wolkin, Regional Economic Development Council members joining us today. Also, I'd like to thank the Executive Director of the Fulton Community Development Agency, Joe Famira. All the members of the Fulton DRI Committee and the community stakeholders who provided input during this application process. Thank you very much. Okay, I would like to start by thanking Governor Cuomo for his vision for the city of Fulton and for delivering this funding for transforming our downtown. The governor sees the same potential in Fulton that we have always known this year. Our city sits behind the beautiful Oswego River and is rich in history. All it needs is a spark to reignite its economy. That spark, as the governor said, needs to come from the city's downtown. A revitalized downtown is a clear sign to home buyers, innovators, and investors that our city is open for business. The Downtown Revitalization Initiative will inject $10 million in investments into the Fulton economy. The state will work hand in hand with the city of Fulton to make improvements to our city that include an improved waterfront and new support for our downtown businesses. With this help from the state, Fulton will join so many other cities in upstate New York that are now thriving under an unprecedented level of statewide economic growth. None of this would be possible without the governor's continued commitment to transforming upstate New York. Thank you once again for all your work, Governor, and believing in the city of Fulton. Now, Governor, I believe you have a check for us.
Congratulations to you. You did it. You did it. Give yourselves a round of applause.